Welcome as we continue with prayer and Elijah. This is the second part of taking apart Elijah. Yesterday, honesty. Today, rest. Suddenly, an angel woke up Elijah and said, "Get up and eat." Elijah looked around, and by his head was a jar of water and some baked bread. He sat up, ate and drank, then lay down and went back to sleep. Soon the Lord's angel woke him again and said, "Get up and eat, or else you'll get too tired to travel." So Elijah sat up and ate and drank. The food and the water made him strong enough to walk 40 more days. After that initial honesty with God, God's response to us is to make sure that we have rest and refreshment. And they're so important. And we need to allow God to lead us to times of rest. We can become so driven. Our society is driven. It's very difficult to get out of that driven mentality and find a different perspective, God's perspective, a perspective of rest. The heart of the Christian week is the day of rest, the day of worship. For me, Sunday is quite a busy day, so my day off, my day of rest is a different day. But having that day of rest, the contrast of when God led his people out of Egypt into the promised land, in Egypt there was no day of rest. So God's new way of being was to have that day of rest. And we need that. We need that refreshment. We need times of rest. If we push ourselves, we become exhausted. We become less than we fully are. God wants us to rest. And sometimes he will provide an angel for us to help us rest. But very often he wants us to use our minds to know that rest is important because he said so, and to find the things that refresh us, that refresh our souls, that inspire us. And this is a hobby horse of mine, finding those things that inspire us. So make sure that you are taking time to rest. That's difficult because, like stillness, rest maybe confronts us with our demons. But as you confront them in stillness, you'll be better able to be at rest when it comes to time for rest. And part of this is listening to our bodies. I have ME, so I run out of energy quite quickly. But I think all of us, as we get older, we have less energy. And we all need to learn this lesson of when our body is saying, "You're exhausted," take time to rest. Punctuate our day with pauses so that we can connect. How am I? How am I doing in the exhaustion stakes today, now? Do I need a rest? If you can, take a rest. Or find a way of going to the coffee station or whatever it is, just to break up and do something different. And not using all our energy. There's a temptation, I have it, to burn up all my energy for the day. I've achieved, I'm exhausted, and that's hopeless. You've got nothing in reserve for the thing that comes up later on in the day. perhaps the home family thing, which is actually more important than the work stuff in the great scheme of things. So find ways of resting, finding refreshment, because there is a journey, but that's for next time. And a breath prayer I suggest for today is I rest. And just try stilling yourself as I've shown you, and then using that, I rest. You're speaking to yourself, speaking to your soul, as the psalmist does, and saying, I rest. Thought of something I was supposed to say in the honesty bit. The Psalms are great for honesty. That's perhaps why the Psalms are so much used by people who've gone deepest into prayer over the centuries, which are the monks and nuns, those who've lived in monastic communities of some sort. They all use the prayer of the Psalms because they have that raw honesty, embarrassing honesty. The Psalms are great to lead us into that place of honesty with God. Sorry, I forget that from last time. I think that's a good place to stop.